ज्ञानानन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। अददनस्य कृणुन्दन्ते हृदं याचे पुनः पुनः श्रीमद्रूपपदां भोजो हृस्यां मम जन्मनि जन्मनि। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवान् च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं च। Hare Krishna. So we'll continue from the discussion on teachings of Lord Chaitanya. From last week we have started discussing about how Rupa Goswami Bad he met Lord Chaitanya at the Shashwamedh Ghat. And Mahaprabhu started instructing him on the special topics of devotion. As Mahaprabhu said that to speak about devotion or devotional service is like trying to fathom the depth of ocean, which is highly impossible. But he says, okay, still I would like to make you taste the drop of the devotional service. And then he started speaking him about the living entity, how they are, what they are. So last time we have discussed that what is the size of Jiva? Balagra Shatabhagasya Shatada Kalpitasya Cha. Then Mahaprabhu quoted one shloka from 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam and chapter number I think 83 or 87 and text number 30, where he says that aparimitaha dhruvastanu bhruto yadi sarvagatas trahina shasyeti niyamo dhruvaha nitaradhaha adnicha yanmayam tad avimucha niyantrata samam anujanantam yad atmam mata dushtaya. Here he is explaining that the Shrutis, they are praying to the Lord and they are saying, O Lord, although the living entities who have accepted material bodies are spiritual and unlimited in number, if they were all pervading, there would be no question of their being under your control. If they are accepted, however, as a particle of the eternally existing spiritual entity, as a part of you, who are the Supreme Spirit whole, we must conclude that they are always under your control. If the living entities are simply satisfied with the being identical with you as a spiritual particles, then they will be happy being controllers of so many things. The conclusion is that the living entities and the Supreme Personality of a Godhead are one and the same is a faulty conclusion. It is not a fact. Generally, the Mayavadi Siddhanta, they says that Lord and Jiva both are same. Because Lord, he came in contact with the material nature, so he becomes Jiva. But that's not the fact. As Bhagavad Gita says that Mama Amsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatan. All the living entities, they are my part and parcel. And they are eternally. It's not that today they are part and parcel and tomorrow they are going to be the Lord. It's not going to happen. That sort of a thinking or conclusions are faulty. That's what the Veda Shrutis are saying, not anyone else. The personified Veda Shrutis, they are praying to the Lord. Then further Lord Chaitanya says, Taramadde Sthavara Jangam Dui Bheda Jangame Tiryake Jala Sthalachara Vibhedaha. So among all these living entities, there is two kinds of dividation. One is Sthavara and second is Jangama, means one is movable and immovable. Even in movable, there are three kinds: birds, aquatics and animals. Then further Lord says that Taramadhe Manusha Jati Ati Alpa Matra. Taramadhe Mlecha Pulinda Bahuda Shabara. So although living entities are known as a human beings, still these living, among the movable living entities, which are known as human beings, they are very minute in number. In Padma Puran it is said that Jalajanava Lakshani Sthavara Lakshamimshati Krumayo Radra Sankyako Pakshanam Trinshal Lakshana and Chatur Lakshani Pashavaha. Sorry, Chatur Lakshani Manavaha. So it explains that Jalajanava Lakshani, there are like a 900,000, not 900,000, Jalaja Navalakshan. There are 900,000 kinds of aquatics. How many we don't know, really? Do you see National Geographic Channel? No. Yes. Discover. There they are trying to find it out, how many are there, but very few really they know about. But here our scripture says that Jalaja Navalakshani, there are 900,000 are Jalacharas, the aquatics. Sthavara Lakshamimshati. Sthavara means trees. Trees, creepers, bushes, shrubs, all they are of 20 lakh types, 100,000. Then Krumayo Rudra Sankhya, the insects, they are of 1100,000. Pakshinam Timshal Lakshani, the birds, they are like a 100,000. And Pashunam Lakshavimshati, again 100,000 are like Chatushpadas, these quadruped animals. And Chatur Lakshani Manva. Amongst 8.4 million species of life, only 400,000 are human beings. And among them also, there is a difference. He says that there are many uncultured human beings like Milechas, Pulindas, Bahudas and Shabaras. So these are the different categories of human beings who does not follow Vedic principles. Then further he says, Vedanishta Madhye Ardheka Veda Mukhe Mane Veda Nishiddha Papa Kare Dharma Nahi Gane. Among human beings, those who are followers of the Vedic principles are considered civilized. Among these, almost half simply give lip service while committing all kinds of sinful activities against these principles. Such a people do not care for the regularity of principles. Who follows the Vedic teachings, they are called as the Aryans or civilized. Among the civilized also, there are some people, they just give lip service. They try to put stamp on themselves as they are religious. But they do all sort of sins. That's why the Las Vegas city, most of the Indians, they come, they stay. Whenever they get vacation, they go to see that sin city. Most of them, they do all religious activities, they do all the vratas, pujas, etc. But to enjoy, where they go? So what it means? Are they Aryans? They are human beings, but they are not Vedanishta. Means they don't have, they are not chaste or following the Vedic principles. Then further Mahaprabhu says, धर्माचारी मध्ये बहुत कर्मनिष्ठ, कोटि कर्मनिष्ठ मध्ये एक ज्ञानी श्रेष्ठ. Among the followers of the Vedic knowledge, most are following the process of fruitive activity and distinguishing between good and bad work. Out of many such a sincere fruitive actors, there may be one who is actually wise. See, most of the people who call themselves religious, they follow the path of karma kanda. They follow the ritualistic activities. Why? Because you perform particular ritualistic activity, then you get some result, and that gives you some material comforts in your life. But does that going to save you from the birth and death? No. On top of that, it will may create a positive activities, or it may create the pious credits, either to enjoy that pious credit, you have to go to the Swargaloka. You may attain heavenly planets. But what happens there again? Tetom bhuktva Swargalokam vishalam, kshine punya martyalokam vishanti. When your all pious credits are burned out, then they push you down again into this material world, and you have to take birth again. So he says, among those karmanishthas, there are few, very rare jnananishthas. So among these jnananishthas, so he says, koti jnani madhyahaya ekat jivana mukta. Among tens and thousands of jnanis, there may be a one who is liberated. Jivana mukta. Koti mukta madhya durlabha eka Krishna bhakta. So now you can understand why you don't see more people in temple. Because like millions and millions of liberated souls, muktas, among these millions of such a liberated person, a pure devotee of Krishna is very difficult to find. Then Prabhupada says, he quotes from Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, Bhoktaram Yadnya Tapasa Sarvaloka Mahesh, sorry, Bhagavad Gita. He quotes from Bhagavad Gita. Bhoktaram Yadnya Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Srudham Sarva Bhutanam Nyatma Mam Shantim Rachati. Only a person he can attain peace of mind who understands that Krishna is the only enjoyer, not we. Karmi and Gyanis, they don't understand that. And they try to achieve something through their jnana. And that's why Mahaprabhu further explains to Rupa Goswami. He says, Krishna Bhakta Nishakama Atayeva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakale Ashanta. Devotee only can attain a peace, and others it's difficult for them. Because a devotee of Lord Krishna is desireless, he is peaceful. So, really devotee is desireless. Yes or no? Desireless. So he even don't desire to get service from the Lord. He is desireless in regard of his own desires. to gratify his own senses. He desires always to gratify. Kamam tu dasyam natu kama kamya. Ya uttama shloka gunat shraya rati. He does not have his personal desire for sense gratification. He desires the sense gratification of the Lord. That's why he is called as a desireless. Fruitive workers desire material enjoyment. Jnanis desire liberation and yogis desire material opulences. Therefore, they are all lusty and cannot be peaceful. Then further, Lord gives pramana from Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, Muktanam api siddhanam narayana parayanaha sudurlabha prashantatma kotishvapi mahamani. Ki among the perfectionist and liberated souls, whom we called as a siddhas, amongst them there may be hardly one person who has Narayana Parayana, means who has totally engaged in the service of Lord Narayana. Because only such a person can be a peaceful person. If you go to Kumbh Mela, you can see there are like almost 100 million or 200 million sadhus. Only a renounced people, they are there. They come to take bath. And you will see varieties of personality among them. And it's very rare to find one person among them who is really peaceful in their heart. Sudurlabha prashantatma. The person who is totally peaceful in his mind is very rarely seen. So, performing devotional service is not that easy task. In the first chapter and 11th verse of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami Pad, he explains the definition of devotional service. Anya avilashita shunyam jnana karmadi anavratam anukilena krishnanushilanam bhaktir uttama. The uttama bhakti is that one which does not desire for any other result. It is only Krishnanushila, which is favorable to attain Krishna. That is bhakti means. Otherwise, people their own way, The people who does not follow any sampradaya, they follow their own emotion. And they create their own path to worship the Lord. So Lord also reciprocates in that only. You have your own style of worshipping me, so I have my style of reciprocating with you. Not necessary that he will give results for that. But if someone follows the instructions of the Lord as it is, then even Lord also gets bound to reciprocate with that person. That's why he says in the Bhagavad Gita, Ye yathamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham mama vartamanu vartante. Arjuna, the way you wanted to reciprocate me, I respond accordingly. Then further, Rupa Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is explaining him that Brahmanda bhamete kone bhagyavane jiva Guru Krishna prasade paye bhakti lata bija. So now the thing is coming up. Generally what happens, sometimes people they ask whether to accept devotional service, does it depends upon my previous karmas in my previous life, or they try to go to some astrologer and they ask, am I going to get devotion in my life? So it never comes like that. Devotion is not as according to your karma in the previous life, but it comes by the mercy of pure devotees. If they become merciful on you, you will perform devotional service. And that's why this verse comes here. According to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to upper planetary systems, and some are going down into the lower planetary system. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. And by the mercy of both Krishna and spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. We'll read this purport. Prabhupada says here, when we speak of Brahmanda, we refer to the whole universe, or not the cluster of many millions of universes. In all the universes, there are innumerable planets and there are innumerable living entities upon those planets. In the air, on the land, in the water. There are millions and trillions of living entities everywhere, and they are engaged in Maya, in suffering and enjoying the result of their fruitive activity. Life after life. This is the position of a materially conditioned living entities. Out of many of these living entities, one who is actually fortunate, Bhagyavan, comes in contact with a bona fide spiritual master by Krishna's mercy. So again, one thing that is given, it's not only your karma, but by the mercy of Krishna. So by the mercy of Krishna, you get a spiritual master, and by the mercy of spiritual master, you get a Krishna. So both are interlinked. Krishna is situated in everyone's heart. And if one desires something, Krishna fulfills one's desire. If the living entity, by chance or fortune, comes in contact with the Krishna consciousness movement and wishes to associate with that movement, Krishna, who is situated in everyone's heart, gives him the chance to meet a bona fide spiritual master. As an Antaryami or as a Chaitya Guru, Lord is there in our heart. As he says in Bhagavad Gita, Ye yatha mam prabhadyante tam sateva bhajamya. He sees the sincerity of that living entity, what he really desires for. And according to that, he makes arrangement that he can meet that person. If someone wants to have a sense gratification, he makes arrangement that a person meet a person who is totally submerged in material sense gratification. And if someone who is desirous to meet the devotees, who wants to really go to the Lord, the Lord, by his mercies, makes arrangement that somehow or other he comes in contact with the devotees. And then what happened? Then the real process of devotional things starts. Krishna is prepared to bestow his mercy upon all living entities. And as soon as the living entity desires Lord's mercy, the Lord immediately gives him an opportunity to meet a bona fide spiritual master. Such a fortunate person is fortified by both Krishna and spiritual master. He is helped from within by Krishna and from without by spiritual master. So, spiritual master is none other than the expansion of the Lord who is there in your heart. So Lord helps you within heart and from externally the spiritual master. Both are prepared to help the sincere living entity to become free from the material bondage. How one can become this fortunate can be seen in the life of Narada Muni. In his previous life, he was born of a maid servant. Although he was not born into a prestigious position, his mother was fortunately engaged in rendering service to some Vaishnavas. When these Vaishnavas were resting during the Chaturmasya period, the boy Narada took the opportunity to engage in their service. Taking compassion upon the boy, the Vaishnavas offered him remnants of their food. By serving these Vaishnavas and obeying their orders, the boy became the object of their sympathy. And by the Vaishnava's unknown mercy, he gradually became a pure devotee. In the next life, he was Narada Muni, the most exalted of Vaishnavas and the most important Guru and Acharya of Vaishnavas. So we have example for that. If you associate with the devotees, today or tomorrow, your life is going to change. Following in the footsteps of Narada Muni, this Krishna consciousness movement is rendering service to humanity by giving everyone a chance to come in contact with Krishna. If one is fortunate, he becomes intimately related with this movement. Then by the grace of Krishna, one's life becomes successful. Everyone has a dormant Krishna Bhakti, love of Krishna, and in the association of good devotees, that love is revealed. As stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 22, text number 107. नित्य सिद्ध कृष्ण प्रेम साध्य का गुण है श्रवणादि शुद्ध चित्ते करय उदय. Dormant and devotional service to Krishna is within everyone's heart. Simply by once associating with devotees, hearing their good instruction and chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, dormant love for Krishna is awakened. In this way, one acquires the siddh of devotional service. Guru Krishna prasade paye bhakti lata bija. Then further Mahaprabhu says, now you got the bhakti lata bija. So what are the things that need to be taken care? Do you have any experience about planting any seeds? No? Okay. So once you plant the seed, what you take care of? So once you get a devotional seed, then what you have to do? That's it? मालिहना करे से बीज आरोपण श्रवण कीर्तन जले करे सिंचन. As you water any plant seed, that's why it grows. So same way, to grow your bhakti lata or to fructify that bleach or seed, what you have to do? Karaya sinchana. So what sort of a watering you have to do for this bhakti lata? Shravana and kirtana jale karaya sinchana. You water these seeds by hearing and discussing about their lordship. Then Mahaprabhu further says, उपजिया बाड़े लता ब्रह्मांड भेदी जाए वीरजा ब्रह्मलोक भेदी. तहा विस्तारिता हन फल प्रेम फल या माली सेचे नित्य श्रवण आदि चल. So when it grows and rests at the lotus feet of the Lord, so what sort of a fruits you are going to get on this creeper? So he says that the produce of this creeper is love for Krishna. Although remaining in this material world, the gardener regularly sprinkles the creeper with the water of hearing and chanting. Once, like one reporter, he asked Prabhupada, Swamiji, why do you chant? Do you know what was the answer? Huh? What was that? He said to chant more. Why? What's the reason behind that? Because that is the sadhan and that is our sadhya also. It is the instrument to attain our perfection. So both are same. It may be a little confusing, but that's the fact. Why we chant? Because to keep chanting. And that is explained in this particular verse. Because the fruit of that creeper is love of Krishna. And if someone is in love with Krishna, then what happens? He always think about him only and he always discuss about him. So same thing he is doing to attain that, and after attaining that also he does the same thing. So further, Mahaprabhu says, Tate mali yana kare avarana aparada hastira yache na haya udgama. Now this is most important thing. You have taken a devotional service, but same time you have to take some precautions also. So what are those? The gardener must defend the creeper by fencing it all around so that the powerful elephant of offenses may not enter. You are making a sweet rice or some pudding, it is done, and lastly you put 1 spoon of sand into that. What happens? It tastes great. It gets spoiled, you have to throw the whole thing out. So same way you are rendering devotional service, but same times if you commit offense, everything will be destroyed. Then Mahaprabhu says further, Kintu yadi latara sange uthe upashakha bhukti mukti vancha yata asankhya tara lekha. See, when you render devotional service, there are few things, they also come along with that. When you plant some seed, when you water, not only the seed will grow or sprouts, the other things around also, they will also sprout. So sometimes unwanted creepers, such as the creepers of desires for material enjoyment, liberation from the material world, grow along with the creeper of devotional service. The varieties of such unwanted creepers are unlimited. Because once you come in contact with devotees and you try to go regularly to temple, so you come in a special category automatically. Because people think, "Arey, he's a pious person." Then they start to give you a little more attention. And if someone gets allured by that, then he forgets to water the creeper, he starts watering other things. And that's create problem. Then Mahaprabhu further says, Nishiddha achara, kutinati, jivahimsa, labh, puja, pratishtadi, yata, upashaka gana. So what are these upashaka? Unwanted things that sprouts along with the bhakti lata. The first is Nishiddha achara. Behavior not to be exhibited by the person desiring to become perfect. So you can attend temple ceremonies also, and you can go to the movies and other sense gratifying ceremonies. That is not going to save your bhakti lata. Then jiva himsa, killing unnecessarily animals. One point of view, you say that God is our father, huh? All we are his kids, and cut the animals to eat. Is it rational? They are not the kids of the Lord, they are something different. From where they have come? So this is what Nishiddha achara. or Kutinati. No, Jivahimsa. And Kutinati is diplomacy. People always try to become diplomat. They are something and they try to show something. So that is not going to help you to progress, to make a progress in spiritual life. Then further it said that labha, profit. Everything you do with the material calculations. Once in a week I will go to the temple, so I will go to the temple also. People will consider me as a pious and I will have my social status. So that material calculation is there. Because some pious people they come and most of the pious people they are well settled actually and they are good in their business. So they come there to make their business occur. So that is like a material calculations. Labha. Then puja, because you come to temple, you be the part of the pious people. So who are impious, they have little bit respect for you. So you get happy with that. At least people are respecting. Then pratishtadi, like you come to the regular temple, then you get some service. So service means some recognition. So you get recognized and you get allured with that. That is pratishtha. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say, pratishtha is like a shukarera vishtha. It's like the excreta of pig, which is the worst. So one has to be very careful. When you render devotional service, this unwanted creeper will grow. So you have to take care of them. So further Mahaprabhu says, Seka jala pana upashakha badi jai, stabda hana moola shakha badi tena pai. So because once you get started recognition, prestige, some profit from the association and you get entangled in that, then what happens? You forget to water the real creeper which you're supposed to do and it gets dried out. Then further he says, Prathameyi upashakhar karaye chedan tabe mula shakha badi jaya vrindavan. So from the beginning itself, one has to be very careful about this unwanted creepers. And then only if you take care of them, then the creeper will go to the Vrindavan. Premafala paki bade mali aswadaya lata avlambi mali kalpa vriksha paya. When the fruit of devotional service becomes ripe and falls down, the gardener tastes the fruit and thus takes advantage of the creeper and reaches the desired tree of the lotus feet of Krishna in Golok Vrindavan. Taha seyi kripa vrikshera karaya sevan sukhe prema phala rasa kare aswada. There the devotee serves the lotus feet of the Lord, which are compared to a wish-fulfilling tree. With a great bliss, he tastes the juice of fruit of love and becomes eternally happy. Ita parama phala parama purushartha yara age thruna tulya chari purushartha. So now the Pancham Purushartha is considered as a devotional service. And that is Parama Purushartha. There are 4 things that being a civilized human being, one aspires to follow this. So what are these 4 Purusharthas? Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. So beyond this is Pancham Purushartha, that is loving devotional service. And that one can attain by taking care of this Bhakti Lata creeper. To taste the fruit of devotional service in Golok Vrindavan is the highest perfection of life. And in the presence of such a perfection, the 4 material perfections like religion, economic development, sense gratification and liberation are very insignificant achievements in front of that. Because these four Purusharthas, they will keep you repeating in this cycle of birth and death. But one Purushartha that will take you out of this cycle of birth and death. Then further Mahaprabhu says, रुदा सिद्धि व्रज विजयति सत्य धर्म समाधिर ब्रह्मांडो गुरुरपि चात्म कार्य एव तावत् यावत् प्रेम्णा मधुरिपोच्चासि कर सिंधु शुद्धिनां गंधोपि अंतः करणः शरणी पंथानां च प्रयति. As long as there is not the slightest fragrance of pure love of Krishna, which is the perfect medicinal herb for controlling Lord Krishna within the heart, the opulences of the material perfections known as the siddhis, the Brahminical perfections like Satya, Shama, Titiksha and so on, the trance of the yogis and monastic bliss of Brahman, all seems wonderful for man. So as long as you don't have a devotion for the Lord, all these things like achieving perfection in yoga or jnana, that will be alluring to you. But once your heart is getting attracted to the devotional service, that doesn't matter to you. Nobody cares then how intelligent you are, how much yoga you have practiced, or how much karma kandi activities that you perform. Nobody cares about that. Then Mahaprabhu explains that Shuddha Bhakti Haitehaya Prema Utpanna Atayeva Shuddha Bhaktir Kahiye Lakshana. When one is situated in a pure devotional service, he develops love of Godhead. Therefore, let me describe some of the symptoms of a pure devotional service. So, Lord Himself is going to explain about what are the symptoms of devotional service. How to make it out? What is devotional service? So the first verse where Lord explains, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karmanyana vratam anukulena krishnanu shilanam bhaktiruttama. When first class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires, knowledge obtained by the monastic philosophy and fruitive action. The devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. That's most important thing. Krishna Anushilanam, which is favorable to Krishna. Not my way is highway. His way is highway. That we have to follow. That we have to track on. Anya vancha, anya puja, chhadit jnana karma, anukulle sarvendriye Krishna Anushilanam. We have many desires actually. That's why we get this body. So don't think about that desire. Don't think about different pujas to get different things in the world. As Srimad Bhagavatam in the second canto, there is a list of things as explained. If you want certain thing, worship this demigod. Or if you want this, you have to worship this demigod. So that list has given. But if you don't desire for that, or not for even jnana or karma, and you engage your senses according to the desires of Krishna, then that is called as a Uttama Bhakti. Yehi Shuddha Bhakti ya Haite Prema Haya Pancharatre Bhagavate Yehi Lakshana Kaya. So these activities are called Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service. If one renders such a pure devotional service, he develops his original love for Krishna in due course of time. In Vedic literatures like Pancharatras and Srimad Bhagavatam, these symptoms are described. And further Mahaprabhu says, Sarva Upadi Vinirmukta Tatparatvena Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhaktir Uchate. Sarvo Upadhi. Sarvo Upadhi means designations. I'm husband, I'm wife, I'm boss, I'm servant, huh? I'm the king, I'm the minister. All these are upadhis. So one has to give up all the upadhis. Sarva upadhi vinirmukta. Tat paratvena nirmala. So upadhis gives you pride, and pride means one type of a contamination. So when the pride goes, you become pure, nirmala. And when you become nirmala, then what happens? Rishikena Rishikesha. Rishik means senses, and Rishika means Rishikesh means the Lord who is the master of senses. So when we engage our senses in the service of the Lord, then it is called as a devotional service. And that's what Pancharatra says. In Bhagavatam, it is explained that Mad Guni Shruti Matrena Mai Sarva Guhashaye Manogatir Avichinnam Yatha Gangam Bhaso Anbutaha. Just as the celestial waters of a Ganges flow unobstructed unto the ocean, so when my devotees simply hear of me, their minds come to me. I reside in their hearts of all. So Lord is explaining now where he resides. The person whose heart is nirmala, without any contamination, and who engages all his senses in the service of the Lord, what happens then? Lord comes and resides in that heart. Then question comes, that means Lord is not there in our heart? He says, Sarvasya cham hridhi sanyashto. I am residing everyone's heart. Then why he is saying that I reside in their heart? How to understand that? Any thought on that?
Like who renders devotional service, he actually realizes that Lord is within his heart. But the person who don't render devotional service, they don't realize it. It's like two birds on a tree in your heart, and one bird is constantly staying with you, and that bird is flying off. And another bird is just looking for desires and not rendering service. But when a person renders devotional service, he actually looks at the bird and he realizes.
Exactly. He is awakened.
Yeah.
You know, once you are awakened, then you can see that Lord who is residing in your heart. He is there at all. But what happens? Once you start hearing about Lord, once you start chanting about the Lord, then mind is always awakened. And then you realize He's there all the time with me. And that's what Lord says here actually. Then I really appeared in His heart in that sense because He's awakened, so He can see me there. Then Mahaprabhu further says, Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya निर्गुणस्य ही उदारतम अहेतुकी अव्याहिता य भक्ति पुरुषोत्तमे. So how devotion should be? What are the characteristics of the devotion? So firstly, it is causeless and it is cannot be obstructed. As Ganges water, once it starts from Gangotri, does it all stops anywhere? It just constantly keeps flowing towards the ocean. So same way, once your mind is totally absorbed in thinking of Krishna, then you're totally awakened. And then further, Lord says that Salokya Sashti Samipyam Sarupyam Aikatvam Apyuta Diyamanam na Grahananti Vinamat Sevanam Janaha. In the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Kapil Muni is explaining to his mother Devavati that what are the symptoms of my devotees now. He gave the symptoms of devotional service. So the person who performs this devotional service, what are his symptoms? How you can make it out that he is a pure devotee or not? So Lord speaks about the highest position of the pure devotee. Generally, you do karma, jnana, yoga to achieve liberation. There are 5 kinds of liberations. One is like a salokya, sarshi. Salokya is like the being on the same planet as Lord. So attaining Vaikuntha. Or maybe the Lord is performing some activities in some different planet here in the material world. Being with the Lord there in that same planet. Then sarshti. Sarshti means having opulences same as the Lord. So if you go to Vaikuntha Loka, all they have a 400 form. And they are always decorated same like a Lord only. There's only one difference in them, and that is that Srivatsa Chinna. Then there is a Samipya. Samipya. Having direct association with the Lord. Means wherever Lord has appeared and performing activities, taking part in his that particular Leela, being one of the active person in that Leela. So that is Samipya. And Sarupya is having the same form as the Lord. And the fifth one is Ekatvam, that is Sayujya Mukti, merging into the existence of Lord. So, Lord Kapila, he says here, Diyamanam na grinanti. Even though I try to give them, but they don't take it. Then what they aspire for? Vina mat sevanam janaha. If my service is not there for them, then they don't have any interest. So this is what he has explained already in the all these purusharthas, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, because they leads you to liberation. But devotee is not interested because he is interested in the pancham purushartha, and that is devotional service. So the highest position devotee who has placed in the high above level of devotional service, what he desires for? Only service. And that's why in Vritrasura's episode in Srimad Bhagavatam, Vritrasura, he prays to the Lord, my Lord, you put me anywhere in this sansara, in any planetary system, in any species of life, but make sure that I should get association of your devotees. That's what he ultimately desires. He said, I don't bother whether you put me, but keep me away from the association of people who are much more interested into wife, house, and other paraphernalia that keeps him attached to material world. Dara, Graha, Suta, Apta, Vitta. With all this, someone who is attached to this thing, please keep me away from their association. And that's what happens. When you become a devotee, automatically you are socially cut off. They may have parties, but they will not invite you because they know this person is useless for us. So when you become nalayak for the society, you become layak to take service of the Lord. So you have to decide to become a qualified to be with the Lord or be qualified to be with these people who are dragging you down to the hellish life. Then Lord says further, Sayeva Bhakti Yogakhya Atyantika Udarataha Enatvera Varjam Trigunam Mad Bhavayo Upapadyate. Bhakti Yoga, as described above, is the ultimate goal of life. By rendering devotional service to the Supreme Personality of a Godhead, one transcends the modes of material nature and attains the spiritual position on the platform of direct devotional service. So this is what he spoke about the devotional service, how you get it by the mercy of devotee and Krishna. By Krishna's mercy you get association of devotees, in the association of devotees you get Krishna. So when you get Krishna, how do you know that you have got Krishna? Other than hearing about him. What are the care that which one should take when you come to devotional service? What are the things that you need to take care of? No, need to take care of.
We should avoid distractions.
Hmm?
We should avoid distractions like gotta avoid things like getting distracted.
What are those distractions?
Prestige,
So what is the terminology here they have used for that? Upashakhas. With the Bhakti Lata, there are some Upashakhas, unwanted weeds. So if you want to grow this Bhakti Lata, then you need to take care of these Upashakhas. And once you take once you defend your Bhakti Lata from all these unwanted Upashakhas, then what happens? You attain, the most important thing, that you have to defend your Bhakti Lata from the offense. And simultaneously, from the beginning itself, you have to take care of Upashakhas. Then what happens? You develop love of Godhead. And when you develop the love of Godhead, how to maintain that? You got the fruits, but to have a really good fruits, what do you have to do? You have to water the seed, water that creeper. And how you have to water again? Shravanam Kirtan. Then Mahaprabhu has explained what is Uttama Bhakti. Anya Abhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Jnana Bhakti. And then he explains the quality of devotees. Even Lord wants to give him 5 different liberations, still he does not want. He only wants the devotional service. The next time we will discuss that how this prema can be increased. What are those things which supports your devotional service? And what are those things really keeps you on track? Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Shripad Rupa Goswami Pa